Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest major labels today. We're not talking about the traditional major labels, the giant conglomerate labels like Deutsche Grammophon and Decca and Philips, which is now Decca, and EMI Warner, which is going to be Paramount, or who knows what it's going to be. The bottom line is, these are the labels that have the widest range of stuff coming out, excluding box set reissues, which the traditional major labels still do because they're sitting on these enormous catalogs and they can issue piles of boxes of things. So we're putting those aside. We're talking about new releases with current artists mostly. And these labels are you ready? Number 1, and this one shocked the daylights out of me. Alpha. Yeah, Alpha. I remember when Alpha first got started. Alpha was a Baroque specialty label, except they had a couple early Carensis discs, like the Mozart Requiem and Shostakovich 14th, that sort of showed up. But they were mostly a French Baroque label. And I met the Alpha people back in the day at Medem, at the convention when we were doing the Cannes Classical Awards. And oh my goodness, they were so French. I mean, wonderfully French, actually. Because they showed me a disc and said, "Is there Baroque music in the United States? Does anybody play Baroque music in the United States?" And it was a disc featuring Skip Sempe, I believe, who's American, last time I checked. And it was funded by the New York State Council for the Performing Arts. And I just looked at this guy and said, "What planet are you coming from?" But that was Alpha. It was a very, very boutique-y but French provincial label. And now, they're doing a complete Haydn symphony cycle. They're doing the Sibelius symphonies. They're doing the Mahler symphonies. They're doing all kinds of stuff. They did fabulous complete Schumann piano works and chamber music with piano and just amazing, amazing things that they've managed to get their paws on. So they're unquestionably, in terms of their range, a major label. After Alpha, Chandos, which is actually still going strong, although it's under new ownership, believe it or not. Klaus Heymann of Naxos now owns Chandos. I actually think that's a good thing. We'll see what happens, but they've got a wonderful roster of artists. They have a terrific back catalog. They've got ongoing releases, some of which have been absolutely marvelous. They branched out from doing unusual British repertoire to doing unusual everywhere repertoire, along with some standard repertoire too, like the Edward Gardner Brahms symphonies and things like that. They're right up there. Major show, and a force to be reckoned with. Along with Chandos, Bis. Bis is one of the easier ones to do because, they've got such a numerically simple catalog. They started with 1, and now they're at like 2,000 something. And they have quite a remarkable back catalog, which I don't need to tell you about. The complete editions of things, all the Grieg, all the Sibelius, all the Bach with Suzuki. They've done remarkable stuff. And they really have built themselves into a major label. Now, how long this will continue is anybody's guess because, they got sold and, we don't know what's still in the pipeline and what's still, getting paid for. Although Bis doesn't traditionally pay for much. If you knew Robert von Barr, the owner of Bis, he was nothing if not frugal. He was definitely frugal. And Bis was very smart in choosing projects which were financed or funded somehow, whether by the artists or some other entity. So there's no reason why they can't keep going, doing what they're doing. They just issued the Alan Pedersen complete works. Wowie, wow. So yeah, it's a terrific outfit. And they've really built themselves up into a major player in the classical music universe. Similarly, Harmonia Mundi, which also began life as a Baroque period instrument, early music specialty label, in France and basically took over the universe. Harmonia Mundi was smart. Harmonia Mundi set up its own distribution, and they distributed not only their own product, but also other independent labels at the time, like Hyperion and things like that. So they were able to establish a presence at a distributorship worldwide, and do it themselves in-house, which was a big, big deal. And so since then, they've been able to branch out into all kinds of things, taking advantage of their own, distribution network and all the groundwork that they did at the beginning. I mean, I remember Harmonia Mundi used to do these road shows for upcoming releases. René Goiffon and Rabina Young would get together and do presentations, and every year there was the Handel opera from Göttingen and basic things, and someone doing some lute stuff and all kinds of early music principally. But now the sky's the limit. They've got all kinds of more contemporary things happening, and quite a huge catalog. They're still focusing on Baroque music, they do, but it's not exclusive. And what a catalog. What an amazing label. We've watched it grow over the decades, and it's so much fun to do that. It really is. So Harmonia Mundi's definitely one, but the greatest major label today, hands down, is Naxos. Naxos, with the largest catalog of the universe. They're still working on recording everything that's ever existed. But you have to also remember that the Naxos group of labels now includes Vox, Ondine, Capriccio, Da Capo. Klaus Heyman owns Orfeo and Oehms, which was part of Naxos. It's all kind of up in the air right now. But Naxos has an amazing catalog and legacy in both familiar music and unfamiliar music. They still had the most complete Beethoven complete edition for the Beethoven year. They've got the complete Brahms. They've got the complete, just about everything. Really amazing stuff. It's a little disorganized right now. It needs to be kind of cleaned up and put in shape. It's so big, and there's so much stuff there that it seems like sometimes they're not quite sure what to do with it all. And the price, which began as a budget label, has become a full-price label in the meantime, or practically a full-price label, but it changes depending on what site you're on and how you're looking. But in terms of what they've got and what they've done and what they continue to do, Naxos is the major label, the major force in the world of classical music. And once again, I was there at the beginning. A lot of us were there at the beginning. And it was very exciting to see how this all took shape. So there you have it. The 5 greatest major labels today, excluding the reissue people, the old majors. And if you've got somebody you'd like to mention, feel free to chime in and let us know who you think deserves to be on this list. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.